following show contains adult content. It's not our intent to offend anyone, but we want to inform you that if you are a child under the age of 18 or get offended easily, this next show may not be for you. The content, opinions, and subject matter of these shows are solely the choice of your show hosts and their guests, and not those of the Entertainment Network or any affiliated stations. Any comments or inquiries should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening.
Hey everyone, and welcome to 50 Shades of Bullshit. I'm your host, Christine Lalonde, and this is the podcast where we uncover the truth about online dating. Now let's begin. Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Christine.
I'm Jada.
And this is 50 Shades of Bullshit. So, hey everyone. Hi Jada, how's it going?
Hello. How are you, beautiful?
I'm good. It's been a crazy week. Let's start with you because I have a couple of things.
Let me see. My week has been very low key, preparing for the 4th of July. You know, I went to the Carolinas this past weekend. Absolutely loved it.
Okay.
Stumbled into a Pride festival, saw some drag shows. It was
I love it.
Amazing. So it was good. Tell me,
fun.
What do you have? What's happening?
This has been like the week of coming back to haunt Christine. I'm really glad I'm not online dating anymore, but it doesn't mean that my past from online dating doesn't come back to haunt me. 2 things happened this last week. Actually more than that, but 2 I'm willing to talk about.
Okay.
Well, I got this rando email yesterday that said, "Hey, Christine, how's it going?" And I was like, "Who is this?" And he says, "Oh, it's a blast from the past. It's been like 10 years or 9 years or something like that." And I was like, "I still don't know who you are." And he says, "Oh, my name is Irvin, not Irwin, but Irvin." And I was like, "Okay, sorry, doesn't ring a bell." He says, we went on a date. We went a walk together for a date. And I was like, "I've done a couple of those." And then he said something that triggered a memory, and it wasn't a great memory. So really briefly, this is how this date went. He invited me on a walk. I parked my car at the corner where there's a little like KFC at. He said, "That's in front of my neighborhood." I park there. I call my friend Gabby. I'm like, "Girl, I'm about to go on some weird rando like walking date. You know, if I don't call you back in X amount of time, blow my phone up."
Yeah.
And she has my GPS. So as I'm talking to her, this guy walks up to the car and he's like, "Hey, hi, it's me." It was not the pictures that he sent. And I was 46 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he was like 38, 39, something like that.
Yeah.
Turns out he looked 19. He looked 19, 18, 19, 20 max. And I said to him, "You are not who you had in your pictures. I am not cool with this." He's like, "Just go on a little walk with me. It's not a big deal. Let's just talk. I really like you." So I'm like, "Oh, what the fuck? I'm already here." So I go on this stupid random walk and we go up and around this block and we stop. And he's like, "Yeah, this is where I live." And he's looking at this house. And I'm thinking, what? And I'm looking at this house thinking, there's no fucking way this 19-year-old owns this house. Okay. It's too nice, too big.
Mm-hmm.
And I go, "How in the world do you own this house?" He goes, "Oh, no, I don't own it. I live in it with my parents."
Stop.
And I said, "Okay, Mr. 19-year-old, I'm leaving now." So I turn around, I start to walk back, and he's like, "I'm going to walk you back and walk you back." So he's walking me back, And right before I turned to go back to where my car is, his car is sitting there, and he's like, "This is my car, and I have this song that I've been working on. I'm a musician, and I want you to listen to it." And I was like, "This is your car?" It was fucking duct taped together. This
I
car
can't.
was on its last leg. And
Mhm.
I was thinking, "Oh God." And he kept begging me, "Please listen to my song. Please listen to my song." So I guess I'm an idiot. This is 9 years ago, idiotness, people, okay? I've learned my lessons. I get in this stupid car, and he doesn't turn any music on. He just looks at me and he goes, "I just want a hug from you. Can I have a hug from you?" And I was like,
What?
"What do I do?" So I go, "I guess." And I lean in to hug him. Now, you
Okay.
know the whole get up where everybody loved on TikTok,
Mm.
every guy who wore gray pants because you could see an
Yeah,
outline
the
of
gray sweatpants.
the junk, right?
Mhm.
He was
Mhm.
wearing sweatpants like this, but they weren't gray, they were like black or something like that.
Yeah.
They're loose. This is appropriate for the story. I lean in to hug him, and he reaches in, jerks himself off once, twice. I jerk back, and he had an orgasm
I
twice. Choo choo, orgasm. And I scream. I hit him with the side of my arm, and I go out of the car and I run all the way to my car.
I have to say I was not thinking that this was the direction of where the story was gonna go, but okay.
And that is the guy who emailed me yesterday. And I tell him,
Interesting.
"Oh, I remember you. You're the guy that jerked off in his car after he took me on a walking date, and jerked off when I hugged him." And he goes, "Ooh, no, that's nasty. That wasn't me." I go, "Yes,
Yes, it
it
was,
was.
sir.
Goodbye. Do not contact me again. Do not go past go." So that was that.
Hmm.
The other one, and I can get more into this story much later because I do want to have an episode about stalking.
Mm.
I went out with somebody 2 years ago when I first moved into my new place. We went out a couple times. He offered to come cook me dinner at my new place and help me unpack.
Mhm.
He came over. He did not bring anything to make food. He did not help me unpack. He immediately just wanted to have sex. And, I have to admit that I have, and I know millions of other girls who have literally had sex to get someone to go away.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we do it. I'm guilty of it. I did this, I let him go, and I thought, "Ugh, I never have to see this guy again." And then next thing you know, he's stalking me. He's leaving
No.
me horrendous texts and emails and calls from numbers that he's blocking. I had to go to the police. They called him. They told him to never contact me again or further
Wow.
action would be taken. That was
Mhm.
2 years ago. On Friday night, last Friday night, I got a call at 12:15 at night. I didn't even think about it. I answered the phone thinking maybe it was one of my daughters or a friend who needed me.
Yeah.
And I answer, and it was him.
Oh,
Um,
no.
so that has been what my week has been like.
Now what you said you had went to the police with this guy, was there any order or, like, no contact situation or
No, there was none of that because I he lied about his last name. He lied about
Oh.
where he lived. I had no way of contacting him, no way of,
Mhm.
checking that out. So
Mhm.
it can be crazy to date online. It
Yeah.
can be very unsafe. I do want to do an episode about that. We are looking for a guest to come and talk about that kind of thing. So we will get to that. But that
Yeah.
is what my week has been like. It has been kind of weird coming,
Mhm.
stuff coming back from the past that's wild.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I've had
I'm
a pretty
sorry to
wild.
hear that. I'm sorry to hear that. Do you know what's so interesting is how when you are in a new positive space and
Mhm,
relationship and you're
mhm,
happy, isn't it
mhm.
crazy how it could be months, it could be years, but you're your past resurfaces and here
Yep.
come people trying to stir things up. Isn't that
Yep.
insane?
Yeah, that's exactly what it has been feeling like. All this tumultuous stuff is coming back, and I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, I'm happy. Leave me alone. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
I'll get my man to kick your man's ass. No,
Okay.
just kidding. But that's what it's been like. So just quick announcement before we bring our guest on. Last week, episode 83, we had Jennifer on, and we talked about cultivating intimacy. And she talked about her program, the relationship Reno, which is like a renovation of your relationship. That it's a 30-day way to go from being roommates to connected lovers. And even though I'm not acting like a roommate to my boyfriend, and neither is Jada in that type of relationship, but Jada and I are going to go through her 30-day plan. She sent it to us, and we're going to see what it's like to use those communication skills in our current relationships and or dating situations.
Yeah.
And we're then going to have Jen back on and kind of discuss how it worked and what happened, and how it can work for you and things like that. So I just want to make that announcement. We're going to do that. She also has a tantric 30-day program that she's going to send us.
Yes.
And we're also going to do that for 30 days. Hell yes. And
super excited.
Me too. Go from there. So I want to talk about what we're talking about today. So, over the past year and a half, we've talked to many different generations of what their current dating is like, what their experience is like, how do they find their dates, what do they do? Well, we've had Gen X, we've had all kinds of different generations, except for millennials. So today we're actually talking to Troy Richards. He goes by T Rich for his music. He is a 26-year-old artist and musician. He also club promotes and bartends. He used to be an incredible baseball player, but he has a personal health issue. So he actually is a baseball coach, and he travels around the country for his music. He's incredibly talented. I have known Troy he might have to tell us because I can't remember how long. He actually went to school with my older daughters, so I know him very well. I think I've been called mom or 2 times by Troy and most of the kids that hang out with my daughters. But when Troy is not traveling around, he is dating, and he wants to come and talk to us about it. The really exciting thing about Troy that I do want to say is that he was recently signed to Paid in Full Music Group with distribution from Empire Music.
That's
so
awesome.
We're really excited for him, and he wants to come on today and talk to us about what it's like to be a millennial and what it's like to date. So let's bring Troy on and have a little chit chat with Troy.
What's up,
Hi.
I know. Hi.
I give you mom all the time.
I know you do. Troy works for me too. He works as a server, and he helps me put up lighting, and I utilize his muscles.
They do.
Yeah, look at him.
Look at him.
I even though he is my daughter's age, it still doesn't mean I don't appreciate how cute he is. He's like, yeah, here I am. So welcome, Troy, to 50 Shades of Bullshit.
Thank you guys.
How's dating life for you? Has it got its own 50 shades?
Oh, yeah. There's probably more than that.
So let's start from the beginning. So did you start dating in high school? Because some guys don't date in high school, and I'm curious, did you date in high school?
I think I was dating in elementary school.
Oh, boy.
Troy's a player. We cannot forget Troy's a player. No, he's really sweet. So doesn't mean you can't be sweet and a player, because I've been one in my day. So
yes.
So
I know you have to say. In your day, I think your day's still going.
Hey, it doesn't hurt to be in my mid 50s and still,
Hell yeah.
have game.
I admire you. Come on.
There's no reason to not have game, no matter how old you are. I'm all about the game. So tell us what dating was like in high school compared to what dating is like as a full-blown adult now.
Well, I mean, in high school, you're young and dumb. You know what I mean? And your emotions are so rampant. Your body's changing. You don't really know what you're doing, but you like to think you're an adult already. So I think the difference is just you're so infatuated when you're in high school, and like every little thing means so much. Your girlfriend breaks up with you, you're like, end of the world.
Devastated.
I'm never finding love again, right? Yeah. And as an adult, if I end up falling for someone and it doesn't work out really, I'm not so like the world is over. I'm just kind of like I appreciate it and then I move on.
Yeah.
That's probably the biggest takeaway.
I do compare. Oh, hi. I love it when people come on to say hi. T Rich, right? So by the way, for those who are listening who find us on Spotify or Apple or iHeartRadio, we actually are live every Thursday on Facebook and YouTube through a radio station out of Florida, K4HD radio. And when people come on and watch us live, they can actually make comments in the comments section and we will display that. And sometimes we can have a conversation kind of with them. And that is really fun. And I love it when people who are following our guests come on to, make comments and say hi. We love that. So I like to compare being a teenage dater and falling in love to that of a rattlesnake. So when you are a baby rattlesnake, you're filled with all the poison that your entire body can possibly encompass. It's a lot of poison.
It's a lot of poison.
It's a lot of poison.
A lot of poison.
As the snake grows older and gets bigger and longer and more adultish, the poison kind of spreads out a little bit more.
Yeah.
It's not as strong. It's not as crazy. I compare that to love when you are a teenager because you are filled with so much raw emotion and your body has changed and your hormones are nuts and you don't know how to control it. You don't know how to externalize it because it's so internal. And as teenagers, you don't external. You keep that shit in. And it just is so hard. And I watch people, like I know somebody, and we've talked about it before. Anthony, our matchmaker, Anthony, he did not date when he was in his teen years. He dated in his 20s. So when he had his first breakup, it was devastating for him.
Oh yeah. If you wait, like you don't get that experience. So it's gonna hit you like a train.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So he's him. we had someone rattlesnake. Troy's a rattlesnake. I get it. So you're so cute. So when you're dating in high school, it's easy to find dates. Well, somewhat, because you're going to school with other people your age, you're doing activities, you're going to the mall, you're meeting other people, you're doing things that are of that age group. When you are in your 20s, because it's different for you than it was for me, Troy. In my 20s, we went to clubs and we went dancing and we met people and we, went places and did things. What's it like? Right. There was no internet. Well, now you guys have online dating and I don't know how else you find people. How do you find people at your age? You're 26. What's it like to date now?
Well, as a club promoter, I do, find people at the club same way, which I feel like is the most organic and it's the best way to meet someone, in my opinion, still. But I have gone on dates with people, through Tinder, like, dating apps and stuff like that. But I mean, I kind of feel like the majority of those kind of apps is just kind of sexual. I don't really feel like there's like substance. Like you see people that'll say, like, oh, like I'm looking for a serious relationship, blah, blah, blah. But I'll see girls put that in their bio, but I really doubt that there's a majority of guys looking in there for the same thing. So it's a little bit harder. I know there's apps like Bumble where the girl has to approve first, which is I haven't been on Bumble. Maybe I'll try it out, but that's probably the best model if I had to guess.
Yeah. Well, I have had previous guests on here. When we first started out, I think it was my 3rd episode, I had 3 different couples who have met on a dating site and are still going strong. And I had a couple that came on who live in Texas. They met on Tinder. He lived in California, she lived in Texas, and she moved to California to see him, and they not only bought a house in Texas together, they're engaged to get married, but now they're having a baby. They just announced it a couple of days ago. Yeah, from Tinder. Tinder's making it real. So there are people out there, but I do agree with you, Troy. It is few and far between.
I don't think it's impossible at all, but I think it's just like, if you're looking for a relationship with like substance and something, I don't know if Tinder is the first place to look at dating out there. And online, just like the story you said before we hopped on. You know what I mean?
Which one? Like, the jerk off?
Oh, jerk off.
Or the stalker?
Yeah, 2 pump shotgun. Yeah, that guy.
2 pump.
You know what I mean? Like, it can get scary too. I mean, not only for women, for guys as well. Like, you never know what situation you're gonna get into. You never know if someone's hiding behind something, and especially now with like AI and all this like crazy shit, like it's gonna get worse. Scamming and like tricking people is gonna get worse.
A lot worse.
So I think in person or going places that interest you, like going and see music that you interest, or I don't know, going to like a themed bar or anything like that has something with your interest, you're gonna meet people with like-minded interest. So I feel like that's probably the best. I've always met and connected
organically, probably.
Yeah, meeting people in person.
Yeah.
So with someone your age, do you think that you are more likely to be willing to do hobby type things that would take you to meet people, or do you think it's still just the club feel for you?
No, honestly, the club feel is just, I mean, you can meet awesome people through the club, of course, but it is kind of like the Tinder thing. It's like, are you like looking for a relationship if you're at the club? Probably not likely. I've been in a relationship, with the girl that I met at the club, but
how well did that go?
As what you expect, meeting a girl at the club, she was, I was 23 at the time. She was 21. So, it's a little bit harder, especially in this day and age with all the dating apps and with social media, the jealousy, the self-conscious thoughts that it brings up. Social media has a lot of good things, but it has a lot of bad things too.
Yeah. Do you get a lot of like sliding in the DM stuff? Have you ever met anybody that way?
I have. And you know what? I love when girls shoot their shot.
But do you slide in the DMs too?
See, I'm not the type to be like, I give away my game. No, I'm not the type to just be like, hey, like, what's up? Like this and that. I'll follow someone, or if I meet someone, like, and I thought they were cute or whatever, we had a cool like interaction, I'll follow them, and then I'll wait till they post something that we have like in common with to like kind of start a conversation, and then like take it from there. I'm not really the type to be like, hey, what's up? You're so hot. Like, let's go on a date. You know what I mean? I feel like that's kind of like, how many other dudes are saying that? All of them.
All of them.
So, yeah. But I do like when girls are confident, and it's about how you do it too. Because I've gotten some weird DMs myself. You know what I mean? But when I get a girl that's like confident in it, and she's just, just tell me that she's like interested in me, I think it's cool. I like it.
Okay. I like that. So,
just be respectful, obviously. Always be respectful.
Right. So I know that you have some crazy dating stories, and that's kind of why the beginning of each show, we always talk about something that happened during the week. But even if something hadn't happened, I probably would have come up with a previous dating fiasco. I know that you have some funny and crazy dating stories. We're dying to hear some of these.
Oh yeah, I got plenty.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it.
I can start off with a Tinder story actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Tinder.
So yeah, so I'm on Tinder, swiping away, and I see this beautiful girl. I swipe, and we get connected immediately. Like, okay, let me message her and stuff. Super cool, like not being weird, not like overly sexual, not just like, making me feel, because when they're overly sexual, it's kind of like, and even if I'm just kind of looking for like a hookup, it's still kind of like it's a little bit scary. So I think she's cool. I'm like, okay, like let's hang out. She's like, okay, like there's this bar, it's in Burbank. Let's go hang out. Okay, cool. So I drive on my way. I go pick her up. She's a girl in her picture. Thank God. That's always the scariest thing. You're just thinking you're gonna get catfish or something. It wasn't a catfish. I was like, all right, cool. She's super sweet. I don't get any weird vibes from her. You know what I mean? And I'm pretty empathetic person, so I can kind of read if someone's a little off. Pretty fast. But she was cool. So we're sitting there, and the waiter comes and brings us these Cadillacs, and she's like, oh yeah, I love this place. I come here all the time. Like, that guy's my buddy, yada, yada. And long story short, we have a good date. And she's like, all right, like, we want to get out of here and like go hang out. I was like, sure, I know a View in Burbank. Like, let's go hang out at a View. She said, okay. And I pull out my money. I'm going to pay for our drinks, And she's like, oh no, like, don't worry about that. Like, this is my buddy. Like, he loves me. Like, we're good. Don't even trip. I'm like, oh, word? Okay, cool. So we get up, we walk out, just walking gingerly out the door. I get 5-10 feet. Not security, I'm sorry. The server walks out. Hey, you guys need to pay. What are you guys doing? And I look at her, I'm like, oh, well, she's just like, oh my God, like, I'm sorry, blah, blah. And I'm like, what?
What?
And I was like, did you know him? And she's just like sitting, kind of like laughing awkwardly. I'm like, what the fuck? So I walk back inside. And I pay for it. And I asked him, I was like, hey, like, do you know her? She said, I asked the bartender, like, do you know her? She said, like, you guys are friends and stuff. And she said it was cool. Like, you would get him or you would get us. He's like, I have no idea who that is. Like, what are you talking about? I'm like, holy shit. Like,
oh, what?
So I'm like, I'm fucking screwed. Like, yeah, this is already going bad. We get in the car. We still go to the View. And I'm kind of like feeling weird about it now, obviously. On the way to the View, she's like, hey, can we stop at like a liquor store real quick? And I'm like, we just had like 2 Cadillacs. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm drinking water with it and I'm fine, but she was just chugging it like straight. And I was like, oh, sure. Like, I guess. She's like, yeah, I just want to get like a shooter or 2. I'm like, okay. This girl walks in with like a handful of Fireball shooters. And she was like, here you go. Like, I got 1 for you. I'm like, 1? You taking 4 right now? Like, what is wrong with you? I was like, I don't want any of them. I'm good. She's like, oh, okay. Like, driving to this View. First one. Second one. She's like, oh, I love Fireball. Third one. Fourth one.
Oh my God.
Okay, alcoholic.
Yeah.
She's going to barf.
Let's go alcoholic. So we get to the View. As soon as we get there, she's like, oh my God, I love this song. She's like, can you turn it up a little bit? I'm like, yeah, sure. I turned up, rolls down my window. Just vomiting out the window.
Do it.
Vomiting. Yeah, that's why I was like vomiting out the window. And I'm like, oh my fucking God. Like,
did she puke all over your car?
She got some on the side.
On the inside? Yeah. Oh, but not on the inside.
No, thankfully she well, I think she was trying to turn the music up to like hide it. Like,
this is the
like,
thing.
You're gonna hide throwing up for me? Like, yeah, like,
if you throw up on the outside of your car and you don't clean that shit up, the acid will destroy your paint.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I just got my Lexus. I had just got my Lexus, and I'm like,
oh.
Yeah. And it gets a little bit worse. So we're chilling there, and I was like, hey, like, I should get you home. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you're throwing up.
She's like, no, I'm sorry. Like, I'm fine. Like, let's just walk up, because you gotta like walk up a little bit to the View. She's like, let's just walk up to the View a little bit. I'm like, all right, like, I guess we'll go out there for a minute. Like, I'll let you sober up so you don't throw up in my car at least. We walk up a little bit. she wants to keep playing music, keep laughing.
She's the keeper. Yeah,
She's the keeper.
we have Charlie's listening in today, and
We're
he
still
said
dating,
she's a keeper.
Oh, I was like,
Nah. So we get up there and we're hanging out there for like about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
She starts saying some weird shit. Like I can't even remember exactly what she's saying, but she's just saying random things that literally don't make sense at all to our conversation. Like, I'm like, is she like slipping in a psychosis right now? Like,
she's having a psychotic episode.
Yeah. Starts laughing hysterically, loud, like the Joker, right? And I'm sitting there, I'm looking at her, I'm like, what the fuck, dude? I'm texting my buddies, like at this point, I'm like, hey, like I'm literally texting her like this, and she's just sitting there laughing, like drunk, kind of like falling over and like putting her hand on me and stuff.
Oh my God.
The neighbors come out and they're like, hey, you guys are being too loud. I got a kid sleeping, blah, blah. And I'm like, perfect. That's my scapegoat. Like, let's go. I was like, hey, sweetheart, like we got to go. Neighbors are freaking out. She's like, fuck you. She's like, fuck you guys. Like,
oh, no.
She's like, this is my man. Like he'll come and fuck you up. And I'm like, what?
You're like, no, I won't.
Your man, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
God. I'm just,
I get her to leave. We get in the car, take her to her house. She's kind of like just chilling there, like kind of swaying, not really saying much on the drive back to her place. And I'm like, I need to get this girl out of my fucking car. Like, please, let's just get there. Don't throw up in my car. Finally make it to her place. And she's like, okay, thank you so much. Like, I had so much fun. Goes leaning to kiss me.
Oh,
and I was like, oh yeah, it was awesome meeting you. Like,
absolutely not. No.
Yeah, right. And she was like, you're not gonna kiss me, really? And I was like,
not with that throw up face. No, thank you.
I'm good. Like, I'm good. Yeah.
Yeah, we're all.
I
always say I don't kiss on the first date when I don't like somebody.
Yeah. Smart. It's smart.
Yeah, right. I always say, I'm not that kind of girl. I don't kiss on the first date. I don't have sex on the first date.
It's not going well. Yeah.
Dude, if I like you,
you're all over.
It's done. It's done.
Oh yeah.
Same.
Yeah. So
that was a nightmare.
I liked that story, and there was something that you said in it that I wanted to touch on. You said, you had met her there. Do you think it's wise to pick people up anymore, or to just meet them somewhere?
It's hard because, like, I don't think she had a car. Honestly, I think that's why she wanted me.
She wanted you to pick her up.
Yeah.
Also, you also made a comment that you were going to pay for the drinks. Have you ever had an instance where you weren't paying for the date? Have you ever expected someone to ever go Dutch or?
I don't ever expect it. Like if I'm taking you out and I want to go on a date with you, then I'll cover it. And I don't bash on anyone that's like, oh no, like I think we should go 50-50 on first. Like, I understand that too. You know what I mean? That's just how I roll. I just kind of like to take care of the person I'm taking out. You know what I mean?
Nice. Yeah.
But I have had girls that just want to kind of spoil me, and they're just like, no, keep your money. And that's nice too.
No one's gonna turn that down.
I'll never.
You're like, why not? It's fine.
Yeah.
But it's not expected, of course. You're not looking for a sugar mama.
And also, like, after, if a girl's like taking care of me, like, and she's like spending a lot, after a little bit, like, okay, like, let me get you back a little bit. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Or I'll feel like, okay, I feel like a sugar baby or something.
Do you feel at 26? I have 2 sons in their 20s, and both of them are very different in their dating style. But do you feel at 26 you could be ready for a long-term, like, commitment marriage? Like, I know when Christine and I were back in our heyday, it was probably very different. But now I find, especially being a matchmaker, that there are women like 24, 25, 26 that are absolutely ready to get married.
Well, I think it just all depends on your lifestyle. Like, everyone's got a different pace of living, and if that's what you're ready for, and you feel like you have all your ducks in line, then yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Me personally, with how my life is right now, it's extremely difficult to even have a relationship, sadly.
Yeah.
But
you're traveling a lot, though.
Traveling a lot, just the nature of what I do. too, you know what I mean? Like the club promoting, being busy all the time. I have a lot of responsibilities and discipline, so you know, not every girl
Mm.
is ready for that. A lot of them want someone that's more available, which I understand. You know, but
So do you date with intention, or are you just dating just to have someone spend some time with, or are you dating for
That's a
sex?
good question.
Because it's any of those are an okay answer. I mean, so
right.
if someone is like, "Hey, I only go online to date because I only am out there because I have a high sex drive and I
Mhm.
have to have a lot of sex," which was typically me.
Mhm.
But with the afterthought of if I found the right person, I would settle down with
Mhm,
them.
mhm.
Right.
So what's that like for you, when you are traveling a lot, but yet you're not in a relationship? So what's that what's that intent for you?
Well, I've been there as well, you know, just having the high sex drive and just, you know, wanting to meet new people and have cool experiences. I think it's really important to be upfront when you meet somebody. You know what I mean? I mean, if you have a one night stand and it happens, it happens. But
Mm.
if
Right.
you end up talking to someone, and it's kind of, you know, it's more than just a couple days. I think it's
Mhm.
just important to, you know, figure out what you're both looking for, you know, because you never want to be the person that's like, you know, playing someone. Like
Right, right, right.
I don't consider myself a player as in like, okay, I'm gonna tell you one thing, but I
Mhm.
really feel another way. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's super important because, you know, that's when relationships get, you know, that's when there's turmoil. That's when, you know, it's just all bad. So
You
you just
know,
gotta be
I
upfront.
I have daughters, as you know. You
Mhm,
are very acquainted with my daughters.
mhm.
Um, and he laughs and turns red because
Better than
he's
already in.
very acquainted with my daughters, not
What are you
just
playing?
as friends. Uh, we've all experienced Troy in some way, shape, or form. I, as an adult who loves him as, this
Yeah.
young man who is like a son to me.
Mhm,
But my daughters are different. So when I look at my girls, my
mhm,
girls are going into dating in a different way.
mhm,
And with guys, I just in their 20s, I just guess I never thought about them having this idea that they are conscientious of a girl's connection,
Mhm,
or what she wants her connection to be,
mhm.
because I'm looking at men in their 30s, 40s, and 50s, and half of those fools don't know how to be, you know, truthful. They're
Right,
lying to me
right,
about what they want to get
right,
what they want.
want.
right.
Mm.
So to hear you say that you are, mindful of someone's
Yeah.
feelings, that you don't want to trick them, says a lot. I just that
Mhm.
means a lot.
I mean, and also like in that situation, like you're gonna have a better connection if you're straight up with somebody.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, if in the
Right.
back of your head, you know, you're kind of like fucking them over, like I feel like
Mhm.
Mhm.
you're just not gonna have a genuine connection. Like when you guys are
Yeah.
hanging out, I mean, the sex, I don't feel like it's gonna be, you know, it's gonna lose substance.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And,
So
yeah.
when you do a dating profile, what's
Mhm.
a dating profile look like for you? Do you
Like my own.
say, yeah, do you
Mhm.
say I'm not in a place where I can have a full, committed relationship, or do you say I'm just
Looking
looking to
for
make friends to hang
Yeah.
out, or
But
it's strictly sex?
I personally hate like the long bios, you know what I mean? That you're trying to
Mm.
tell
Mhm.
me everything. It's like I can't fully grasp who you are through your bio. You know, I don't need like a
Yeah.
15, you know, page essay of like who you are. So like mine's super simple. I just say like looking for friends. Like if you want to know more, you know, get to know me. That's literally
Yeah.
Okay.
all my
Yeah.
bio
Okay.
really says. Except like
Okay.
I said, it's an online. You know, what you put online is only so much of who you really are.
Well,
Mhm.
I find that most of it's bullshit anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't.
It's all
Let me figure that out. You know, let's hang out.
right. I think that people tend to put on their profile what they want to be, not
Mm,
who they really are. I'm with you, Troy. When I see a guy who's written a book and a half about on his profile,
you're like,
I
oh,
don't even read a fucking word of it. That shit is next.
yeah.
If a guy comes on with nothing in his profile and he just is banking on his quote unquote good looks,
Mm.
that's a next. Unless he's so fucking fine that I'm willing to tap it without any commitment, that's
Right.
fine.
Right.
If he's real. But when it comes to someone who's just pretty basic that says, hey, I'm this kind of guy and I just want to, get to know people, that is more appealing to women than the ones who are like all or nothing.
Well, that's the thing.
Mhm.
I feel like, especially a lot of guys, like, especially if they struggle with, self-confidence and stuff. I feel like they feel like they have to overcompensate, especially on like
Mhm.
a dating profile. You know what I mean? I mean, I have a lot of buddies like that ask me for advice, just because I just have experience, and
Mhm.
I can see it through them. Like I've literally put in some of my buddies' Tinder bios and replied a couple of times and like, scored them a date or two and be like, see, there you go. Now you can be yourself. You know what I mean? Like, I did the little initiation. And now you can show them how cool you are, and not
Yeah.
like overthink about it and be like, oh, I have to put this picture and like say this. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Not it's a fine line between trying too hard and not trying at all.
It is.
Mhm.
It's a sweet
You
spot.
Yeah, you just have to be a natural in yourself and just maybe say a few words that
Yourself. That's the
yeah.
main thing. Yourself. As soon as you stray away from
Mhm.
who you really are and you're trying to
Mhm.
like, up
That's
your card, that's when it's like it goes out the window. And
yeah, that's the
someone that
recipe for disaster.
and
Yeah.
someone that can like read you is gonna pick that apart right away and it's just be like, oh, you're not being genuine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you find that girls nowadays in your age group that you're dating, early to late 20s, do you find that most of them are wanting to be in a committed relationship, have a baby daddy, or do you think that they're just out having fun and playing around too?
I think it's a lot of both. I think with
Mhm.
the internet, that's changed a lot how people have thought. Like even the having babies, I think there's a huge amount of people that aren't sure if they even want to have kids. You know what I mean?
Don't.
Especially with the that's how I feel. Like I grew up thinking like, oh yeah, like I want kids, like I want to coach my kid up, and I still have those thoughts, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I don't have one if it'll be
Mhm.
devastating to me. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because I think it's so important that you're really careful with who you share that with, because
Yeah.
that's a
Mm.
lifetime. You're raising
Right.
somebody up, you're molding somebody together,
Mhm.
Oh, and
and
trust me, they
yeah,
grow up and they're ungrateful and they hate you. So
exactly. No,
and
no,
it's very fleeting, those times that they love you. They
yeah,
hate you, they love you. Nobody
yeah,
gives a fuck. They don't care what you
yeah.
sacrificed.
It's a huge commitment.
That's a huge commitment.
It's a
Yeah.
huge
It's
commitment.
a
And
lifetime commitment.
if you're not willing to be selfless and then be told that you're an asshole, then
Mhm.
don't have kids,
Yeah,
because
and the person that you're having them with is huge too. You know what I
ah,
Mhm.
mean?
Mhm.
listen, I told my daughters over and over and over, million fucking times, think twice about having kids with that asshole, because that asshole's going to be in your life forever. And they
Forever.
ignored me. Mom, I love him. He's so great to me. And I could see who he was. And I'm like, no. And then guess
And
what?
they don't want to listen to mom or dad.
Nope. Guess what? They have kids with that asshole and they hate him. Hey,
It's almost like
nobody
mom was
listens
right.
to me.
It's almost like mom was right.
Right.
Moms are always right.
Yeah.
Moms are 90 fucking percent
Yeah.
right. I
Yeah.
mean, we still get some things wrong, but goddamn, we're just out here trying to help you, but
Yeah, I think
kids,
they
they
forget that
don't want to be
sometimes.
helped.
I
Yeah,
think they feel
they
like it's
don't.
just like a, like a
Mhm.
nagging thing, but you just want the
No,
best for them.
exactly. So we don't have much more time. Time flies, but if you have another short dating story, I'd love to hear another one before we go.
Okay. Let me think. There's the ones that you were bringing up was like, holy shit, you're kind of bringing me back a little bit. Okay, I don't. It's another Tinder story. Stay the fuck away from Tinder, honestly. More
Right.
So this is a catfish story.
Okay.
I'm on Tinder and I see a pretty girl, and I can admit I didn't like look too hard. I was kind of on like a hookup, type feel
Yeah.
that night. So I was like, let me just like see what's up. I got a hit pretty quick, and like I looked at the first two pictures, and going back, I realized that they were like severely edited. But just look, I might have been drinking with my buddies. I don't know.
Well,
So
you were also thinking with another head that night, so it's okay.
exactly. So yeah, so I matched with her. She's cool. She's like, oh, like you want to hang out and like smoke a joint or something. I'm like, okay, cool, yeah. So we kick it. I go and pick her up again. Nothing weird. We're hanging out, and she's really cool actually. I find out she likes the same favorite band that I have, and we're listening to the music and stuff. And we're smoking. It was actually it was a blunt, so it was wrapped in tobacco leaf. So we're smoking, and we get about halfway through the blunt, and she's like, "Okay, I'm gonna put this out now. You know, I just I don't like smoking the whole thing or like really fucking me up." And I was like, "Okay, like, I'm thinking like weed's not that crazy to smoke a whole, thing. But,
Right.
okay, maybe have like a little tolerance. You don't want to be too high. You don't want
Okay.
to get like nervous while you're talking to me,
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right. And I was like, yeah, I feel you. Like, I take tolerance breaks and stuff sometimes too. Like sometimes I'll get a little bit more anxious if I'm smoking. And so I get it. And she was like, well, yeah, but like, I lace mine with Xanax. So
you were smoking
And I'm like-
her. You were smoking her weed, and she put Xanax
Lace
in
of
it.
Xanax.
and I'm like,
What the fuck?
rewind real quick. I was like, you smoke yours with Xanax, right? Like, we're not smoking Xanax right now. And she was like, oh, well, like, you're like a promoter and stuff. Like, I'm sure you like, I'm sure you do drugs. And I'm like,
What?
bitch, what? Like, like, and like, if you know me, like Christine, you know me, like, I've never even done it.
Wow.
I don't judge anybody, but like, I stay away
Charles
from
says
drugs.
it sounds like fire. Amber's laughing at you. So.
Yeah, I'm sure she is. And like I've never even taken a Xanax before. Still to this day, that's the only time I've had Xanax. Like,
did it knock your ass out?
It made me feel fucking weird. I'll tell you that. Like,
Yeah.
I just felt like I felt dopey. Like I felt like I was high. You know what I mean?
Listen, the
and it
lesson
hit
of
me
the
pretty
day is
fucking quick.
don't
not.
smoke
people's
other
shit.
people's weed.
Yeah.
Other people put shit in their weed. We don't trust other people's weed. We bring our own pin. We bring our own joint. We do not smoke other people's weeds. Lesson of the day.
Lesson of the fucking day. Do not smoke
Yeah.
anyone else's shit. You can bring your own.
Yes.
But yeah, to wrap that up real quick, I started like kind of feeling it, and I got really offended, honestly. Like, I have addicts in my family, and like that's something that I like.
Yeah.
I stray away from. Like, I've dealt with it my whole life with my family, so I know the turmoil and I know how fucking dark it is. So like, even if people, assume I'm doing drugs or I do them, like,
don't assume.
Yeah, I kind of, I feel disrespected a little bit. So if you like lace me, pretty much, I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, I kind of lashed on her a little bit. And I was like, I hope you know that's like really fucked up. Like, you need to tell people. Like, I've never even done coke before. And she was like, you're a fucking liar. And I'm like,
I hate that.
Yeah, I was like, okay. I was like, okay. I was like, you have a good night. I was like, you have a good night. Get home safe. Smoke the rest of your fucking Xanax and drive. Like,
listen, if you're gonna put shit in your weed, you got to tell people. You can't be doing that. You just cannot be doing that. Thank you, Charles. It is great advice. So I wanted to, do a little shout out for Troy here. He is an incredible rapper. I wish we had had time to have you actually show one of your songs or sing for us, because he is really talented. If y'all want to check him out, he's on Instagram. It's capital T _rich _23. YouTube is T-rich. It's RICH. Apple Music, it's T-rich with a S that's a money sign instead of an S. Spotify, same thing, T-rich with a S that's a money sign. You're also on TikTok. What's your TikTok handle?
Oh, that's right. TikTok is the same as Instagram. So it's T_RICH_23.
Perfect.
And on Instagram, if you check me out, go to the link in my bio, and it has all my music. It has like everything that I possibly have. So
he's not only really cute, really attractive. He's incredibly, he's very thoughtful. He's very loving. We love Troy. Like, I fucking love you, Troy. You're like the son I never had.
You like the mom I need.
I literally love the skin off your body. You're so amazing. But he's incredibly talented. And so when you get a chance, please check out T Rich. It's great stuff. You know, I know that you have a crap ton of crazy stories. We're actually going to do an episode. I don't know when, maybe in August, maybe in September. We're going to have, maybe even for our 100th episode. Okay. So I have to check that out. We are, I don't remember, what are we, 86 today?
84.
84, something like that.
I thought I saw it.
We're going to do an episode where we have just a shit ton of people come on and tell crazy stories. Because
I got some more.
Love Tinder stories.
I'll have to think about it, but I got you.
Yeah. And if you want, we do listener stories, not readers. What am I fucking talking about? Listener stories. So if anybody out there who has a funny story, a really romantic story, a crazy story, write us. You can send it to our email address, or you can find us on Instagram. Our email is 50shadesofbullshit@gmail.com. 2 things about our email. You have to spell out the word 50, and shit is SHYT on Gmail. That's the only.
Somebody had it?
Gmail's the only. No, Gmail won't let you spell out a naughty word.
Oh, that's weird.
But Instagram is 50 shades of _bullshit, spelled the proper way. But yeah, so
everybody go follow them too. If you checked into me, go follow them.
Yeah, thank you. So Troy, thank you for being here today. Jada, you're beautiful as ever.
Thank you.
Everyone who came to listen to us today, thank you so much. Please come back and listen to us again. All of our episodes are everywhere that you can listen to podcasts now. We're over time, so we have to go. But same time, same place next week. And until then, let's keep it real.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share with your friends, like and follow us on Instagram at 50shades_bullshit and Facebook at 50 Shades of Bullshit. Thanks so much for listening, and we really hope to see you again next week.